I'm sure you can hear them just riding around out there. That's what they fucking do. Now they stop riding around. It's like they know how, like they know when my phone is out and I'm talking to my phone and everything else, man. Sometimes they know when my camera's going. Or whenever I'm looking at the comment section on GTA, they start commenting as soon as I look at it. Fucking predators. Disgusting fucking predators. And they call me disgusting. Okay, buddy. Okay, you disgusting fucking parasites. Still riding around out there. Yeah, they keep saying that they live inside my walls. Chief Handler. He's going by another fucking name now. I guess. But yeah, that's a chip. He's talking about the chip. Or the DNA being an antenna. I mean, both, really. I don't think the chip has the power, I guess you could say, or the ability to, well, I mean, I guess it could read your thought, your impulses. And that's what that's based off of. But he's still riding around out there on a fucking dirt bike or a four-wheeler, one of the two. You can hear a bird chirping. Sorry about that. They hang around sometimes. And they chirp at night before they start roosting. Earlier, they were fucking, they were yelling, hooping and hollering, trying to get my attention. And it's always like the same, hey, 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 shit like that, man. The same one. Same way every time. If y'all went to my Google Drive, y'all would know that these pieces of shit surround you, start whistling, fucking with you. You don't know their position, and they're fucking whistling and all this shit. You know, one time I was out in the desert, out here, way the fuck out there, man. I was like 4 miles out in the middle of the fucking desert, right? Trying to get away from everyone, right? And these motherfuckers were still shooting guns and everything. Still shooting guns at me and shit. In my direction and everything. It's like they knew where I was every fucking time. And then they would be close by. And they would be talking to each other really fucking loud, trying to get my attention. And they would ride around and shit. They would take this back way on this highway and lead to the back way of where I was at. And they would fucking be riding their dirt bikes and everything out there. Out in the middle of the fucking desert, dude. No lie, they would take a back way, a drainage ditch by the highway. They would take that back way there and they would fucking follow this drain all the way, or this fucking dried up creek bed whenever it rains, you know. And they would go back there and they would fucking. I actually came out the way that they went in to fucking get where I was at. And I saw their tracks and everything. They would fucking be yelling, hooping and hollering, whistling around me, shooting guns in my direction, doing all that shit, man. I told this dude about it, and he's like, man, you should call the police. And I'm like, you know? So, you know, I made sure that this was happening before I fucking started claiming this shit. Because once I started moving, they did the same shit on the Rio. And that wasn't on the Rio where I was at before I moved to the Rio Grande. I was out in the middle of the fucking desert. And they were doing this shit. I didn't know what they were doing. I mean, I thought they were trying to scare me off, but I was like stern. I was like, dude, I'm in the middle of the fucking desert. You're gonna shoot guns in my direction? You got some kind of fucking issue, man. Sure did. And then they made up this excuse. One time I was going into a Dollar General over there on University, I think. And you get before you get to the Centennial High School and all that shit over there, back past the black, they got this trail, the Black Range. They call it the Black Range as well. And I thought it was surprising because it reminded me of the Black Range over past Silver City, New Mexico, which it's just coincidentally weird. It's weird. They call this, and I looked it up. It's some kind of Black Range training trail, and it goes on for like 100 and something, like 100 miles or some shit, right? And it goes through the desert, and they follow it for training and shit. But that's not what these piece of shits were doing, dude. They were targeting me, you know? And it was before you got to it's over there on the petroleum pipeline, before you get to the military base, like about 40 miles out that way. It's way far out there, but it's like what before that. I mean, there's no way that any military's out there, man. There's no way. There's these houses. I'm like 4 miles from these mansions, these rich people where they live and shit, right? Out in the middle of fucking nowhere. But yet they still got these piece of shits following me around, doing all this shit, man. It ain't no fucking military. The people in the military have been persuaded to join these fucking Illuminati fucks and go along with their agenda and everything, right? But anyway, I'm gonna go back to before I got into that. But yeah, so I'm out there, right? And I go to this Dollar General on University. It's actually on University before you get to where I was going or start going. But yeah, so I was at this Dollar General, and there was this clerk, right? I go in there and I'm like, buying shit and everything right before I go home. I'm going this different way. I never went this way. So, and I buy this homeless guy some food too and everything, right? So anyway, what wound up happening is they get on the phone, these cops, man, I guess, or somebody, right? Call. As soon as I get up at the cat, to check out my shit, right? The clerk picks up the phone, and they say, oh, we're looking for a hit and run. We're looking for a hit and run. And all this shit and all that and the other, right? And what they end up doing is they end up going where my camp is. Like, not exactly where my camp was, but like they would park where the trail leads, like the police knew where I was at all times anyway, regardless of me. No lie. And it's like these police are these people, man. Like, they are told to do all this shit through a social cue, through conversation. They have a conversation, And they make up all this conversation to send messages, to send subliminal, clandestine messages to the people that are in this fucking secret society. And they fucking, you know what I mean? And that's how they work. Through communicating. It's just, that's all it is. It's just, they put fear into their hearts, and then they manipulate and control them like that. Straight up. And yeah, it's like they knew where I was at, and then come to find out later on, no lie, whenever remember when I had that court and shit, and they fucking tried to lie on me, and you know, and everything else. I go to court, go to jail, whatever, get out. Charges got dropped, right? Well, as soon as I started trying to list Rudy as a witness, he started talking about, oh, I got my own legal issues. I got a legal issue out of Albuquerque, a hit and run, and all this, that, and the other. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, this dude never goes to Albuquerque, so I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, man. It's just a social cue that they used back then, and then now they're using it again to reference the Illuminati, to reference their agenda. Don't fuck with us, is what they're saying. Like, go along with our agenda, don't defy us, type shit. We're gonna scare you into it. That's what they do. That's what they do, guys. Y'all don't understand, man. There ain't no such thing as a coincidence with these pieces of shits. Once you put 2 and then that plus sign and then another 2 together, it makes 4, doesn't it? It gets pretty fucking obvious after a while. They do the same things over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and they never fucking quit. It's how you know these pieces of shits are them. Because they'll follow you around in town. I actually had a dude that followed me into Cracker Barrel over there off of South Valley Drive. So did. Had an old ass man follow me all the way from what was it? That post office off of oh man, that's where I'm at. Off the Rio over here. It's past Little Rona Park. Picacho, West Picacho, gosh. West Picacho, over here off of West Picacho, the post office had an old ass bitch fucking follow me all the way from there to Cracker Barrel. So did. Went in at the same time and everything. I saw that bitch, I got so fucking pissed, I almost got up and made a scene, dude. I don't tell y'all everything, man, because, you know, y'all's little brains sometimes can't comprehend what the fuck I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to tell you what's going on, or if you don't want to fucking trust what I'm saying, then fuck you, dude. Like, got no reason to sit here and bullshit you, you know? I'm not about to sit here and bullshit you. So, yeah, they stopped, you know, they stopped, as soon as I started talking about all this shit, I guess, they stopped fucking, doing donuts or whatever on their four-wheeler. They'll do that shit all goddamn day, too. Like, all fucking day, until the real thing comes by. UTV, ATV comes by, sometimes dirt bikes, you know, y'all seen it. These same piece of shits do the same shit over and over again. It's the same people, too. Y'all don't get it, man. Y'all, same dirt bikes. Like, you could put the vehicles together and pretty much sum up that, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, y'all could call me a liar all you fucking like, but you're the fucking piece of shit, not me. I'm not about to sit here and bullshit y'all. I'm not like y'all. I'm never gonna be like you. That's what they want. They want you to be this disgusting piece of shit with an attitude and everything else. That's what they really want. They want you to get on their level, man. They want you to be this fucking parasite, man, to join in their fucking brain waves, man. Like, get down to their vibe, their brains, like their brainwave length, man. You know? Like, they want you to get down to their fucking level, dude. They want that shit. They're fucking parasites, man. They're disgusting. And I think it's the chip. And I think you can look it up. I haven't looked it up, but I heard a long time ago. I was talking to this guy, man. He was like some kind of biologist or something. This was a fucking long time ago, dude. Whenever I found out about Donald Marshall, I started talking about cloning and everything, man. And this guy comes in and he chips in and he's like, literally, I guess, huh? And he gets in on the conversation and he comments. He's like, "You're right. Your DNA is like an antenna, yada yada yada." And I'm like, that's pretty cool to know actually, cause you know, but that's what he said. And then somebody asked me later on my channel, not that long ago actually, I started talking about this DNA being an antenna, right? It acts like some kind of antenna. And I think this is how they can predict when I'm looking at something or, because I looked at this light, man. I had my light. It was this thing. It was like, I've told y'all this before, but it was this thing. It's kind of dirty, sorry. But it was this thing, and, but yeah, I had it off, right? And it turned on. I go to turn it off, and it turns back on as soon as I look away from it. And when I look at it, it turns off. I look away, it turns on. I look at it, it turns like it back and forth. Back and forth. Yeah. When I look at it, it turns off. When I look away, it turns on. When I look at it, it turns off. Look away. Every time I looked away and looked at it, it did the same shit. And I would do it for a certain length of time, and then I would look at it again, and then it would turn off. Like somebody was out there fucking with me, watching me, and yeah, no lie. Like they know my every impulse, my every move, my every instinct, my every impulse, like what I'm gonna do next type shit. Straight up. Like timing with these pieces of shits, or it's just sometimes perfect. Sometimes I can throw them off, but they can read my mind, man. They can read my mind, definitely. And, I just want to make it clear that, and think about it. Think about this. Let's say we got a hold of this mind reading technology. We could use this shit against them and win. Yeah. You know something that y'all didn't know? They have this Google app. There's this mind reading technology that Google created actually. And you have this little headset. It's like mind reading voice command type shit. Like you can think it and it'll happen. And they have an app for it. Go look it up. I forget what it's called. But yeah, man, they put it out there. It's just this mind reading shit, and it's like some kind of inside track that they have and they use against you through the environment around you, and they fucking respond to your thoughts and everything else. Straight up, no lie. And I think cause back then, this is crazy, man. Back then, they were talking about, I think this was like in 2015, they were talking about, they've almost got teleportation down, and I thought that was just like, there's no way that they got teleportation down. Now that I think about it, I think they did. I really do. And it's this time traveling shit. Well, think about it. Since, let's say you can predict the future, right? And like you have these whole premonitions, you're talking out, what's gonna happen in the future maybe, or, some shit like that. I've done shit like that. Y'all have seen on my videos where I've talked shit out. Or actually, I'm repeating shit that we later hear or see. And I've done that with, Truth Teller Talks. I did a review, a targeted individual review on him, right? And I'm talking about mind over matter, and then later on I hear mind over matter. When he starts talking about mind over matter, we start talking about the same shit. It's because of the chip, man. It predicts the future, or it's like they say that everything is interconnected and there is no time. That's just an illusion because of the sun and moon coming up and down. You know, it's like well, not up and down, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, that's time to us. But really, what is time? If you step outside of time, there is no time. It's all just this whole flow, you know, like of a piece of matter through space, and it's like this prediction of matter, of where each particle or matter is gonna be, because we're like the material, right? Or like, you know, let's say we're this car that's going down the street, and it was intercepted by this semi truck, and there's a specific time that it's gonna get there, and a specific time that you're gonna hit it, and it's just like that kind of analogy, like, and they know in the specifics in time when it's gonna happen, what's gonna happen sometimes, and all this shit. And yeah, and they do this. It's called a precipitory timing. That's what it's called. And some college or university did a study on this shit too. Go look it up. But yeah, man, they got this shit down, and it's like this chip remembers all this shit, and they use teleportation for a time and place, and these lizards inhabit these bodies, or these clones. They have these clones, and they have these handlers handling these clones. Sometimes it's, I guess, just the handlers, or maybe like a goon, or like a lizard, a vril, you know, like one that had took over the body and decided to go along with this agenda, this whole agenda. Or, you know, maybe they're using these people shit straight out of their homes. Let's say I'm sitting at home, and they tell me what to do, and then I go do it, and I'm teleported somewhere or some shit. Who's to say something like that isn't, and that's their inside track. Like, they don't tell anybody about this shit. Who's to say they don't do shit like that? Like, it's just weird because they have such crazy timing for all this shit. Maybe they don't have a teleportation device. Maybe that's not it. Maybe it's just the whole future reading shit. Like, let's say they know that I'm gonna go to Walmart today. Let's say that, right? And I don't even have to plan it, right? Like, somehow I just end up going to Walmart or something, right? Well, they intercept that prediction, that future that you had, and they intercept it, and they send something right as you said it, or, like, you know, as you were thinking it, and then they like use something in the environment to show you, or maybe, you know what I mean? That's what they do. That's what they do sometimes, and then they'll follow you around. They'll intercept that predictiveness that you have, and they'll use it against you. That's what they're doing to me. Like, no lie. And then they'll repeat it back to me. They'll fucking, you know, listen to my thoughts and respond to it, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. You should, bro. It's crazy for all the normies to comprehend. You know, yeah, that's what's going on. You know, there's some kind of explanation, is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not rambling. I'm saying that there's some kind of explanation for it, and we just don't know what exactly, but I know it's the chip in my head, because it keeps saying, oh, we live in your walls. We live, yada, yada, yada. We live in your brain, yada, yada, yada. Dude, it's either the chip or the mind reading device, or both, and I don't know, man. I really think it's the chip fucking with us, man. Like, they drone us through this chip technologically, like Donald Marshall said, you know, and it's a part of that, you know. And when you dumb down the brain enough, through the chemtrails and all the fucking shit that you have in your water and you're eating and all that shit, right? And it dumbs you down enough, and they say that there's brain waves that come off of monitors or something, or not brain waves, a frequency that emits from the monitors or like TVs or whatever that fucks with your mind, man. It like literally just gels your brain out, like it turns it to jello type shit. Like after, you know, it softens it. That's what they say, but anyway, it just kind of makes sense because it's like you start talking in riddles, man. You start like it's weird. These people, man, they're just so dumb nowadays. They're so dumbed down that it's just a wonder that you can't help but wonder if that's really the cause, because that's what people claim. That's what you've heard, right? That's what you've seen. What chemtrails, man, and all this shit, fluoride or chlorine, whatever the fuck they put in our water that makes it, bad, like, so it's like this dumbing down, and then they just like it, your brain gets in a line with this program that they've got going, like these frequencies that they're putting on your brain, and then they take over, you know what I mean? It's like, you no longer function like you should, and it's like this. That's how it's kept secret, because who's to say that they can't do shit like this? Who's to say that they don't do shit like this? Because I mean, the evidence is there. But like I said, man, it's like this dumbing down enough to where there was a saying. Uh, they want you to be just dumb enough to not ask questions, and smart enough to fucking do the work. And that was said to me in like 2015. I saw a meme or whatever, and it just makes sense. We're all a part of the product line, and if you don't get with it, like just like with this vaccine shit, if you don't get the vaccine, if you don't have a job, then you're not a part of society, man. Like you don't deserve to live, like you don't deserve to breathe, and they keep that going because the elitists, the wannabe elitists, they follow along with this shit, that want to be in this shit, that want to fucking betray humanity. Sometimes it's real humans, sometimes it's just motherfuckers born into this shit. Sometimes it's reals overtaking bodies type shit, fucking body snatched, a dude, woman. Mostly it's women. Uh, Mostly women are the targets because they can use the women to control the men. Just like in one of the videos where they use their kids, in the video, and then they got this woman. Those men asked that woman, "Hey, can we go fuck him up? Hey, we can't go fuck him up, can we?" They were like practically begging that female to get off that fucking, truck, whatever it was that they were riding on, to fucking come and beat my ass. Like, they gotta ask that woman? Like, she's the witch, man. She's a witch. What they call a witch. Oh, here they go. They're going by right now because they're fucking pissed. Because they're pieces of shit. But yeah, man. They don't like when I talk about this shit. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. It's like it's timing. It's all about timing, dude. I go to talk to these people, man, over here about Donald Marshall. Guess what? A fucking plane starts coming out of nowhere. Every single time that I go to talk to somebody on the Rio that's out there on the Rio, I did a video on it. I go to talk to them. As soon as I do and go to tell them about Donald Marshall, a plane's going by or going over my head or our heads. And I'll tell them that's them. That plane is them. It's one of them. And then he's like, he's told his son, his son's there, and I think his son was in on it. I think he suggested to his dad that they should go to the Rio, and all these motherfuckers would be parked at the Rio, man. This was before the river started flowing, and it was like 2 days before it was starting to flow. It took a good 2 days. And these motherfuckers, were there, and I'm like, I'm going up to each one of them trying to find out who they are. There was this guy on a bike with a gun on his hip, and he was making a fire, and it was like 7 o'clock a.m., man. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, right? No lie. And this bitch had it going. I think I still have the video. But this guy fucking starts lighting a fire, but it's only smoking. It's not even a fire. And he's on a motorcycle, and he has a gun on his hip, and he's all tatted up and everything, and he's fishing out of the Rio. This was after the Rio started flowing, right? And yeah, this dude had this shit smoking. It was fucking weird, bro. It was them signaling me to stop talking about the shit and everything. And then you got these motherfuckers, this guy, his son, before the Rio started flowing, was talking about, well, he looked at he looked at me, and then he looked at his dad all weird, like, should I? Oh, shit. Like, the oh shit kind of face, like, you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't do it. Cause his dad was like, oh, son, go look up, this shit on YouTube. You should look it up. And then he would kind of look over at him, and then he would be staring at me like crazy. Like, it was weird. It was really weird. Or it was both of them in on it, now that I think about it, cause it just seemed odd. You know, like, he was telling his son, like, he was asking his son, are you listening to this shit? And then he would look, and his son would look weird at me, and then him, his dad, and all this shit. I'm like, it's just weird. Like, you're trying to get him, like, it's like some kind of test. Like you're turning some kind of blind eye, invisible blind eye on this shit. Like some kind of cue with your son here. Type shit. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But anyway, I wanted to, get this out there, and tell y'all about it. But, you don't have to listen. It's whatever, man. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit the camera or my audience. I'm not gonna bullshit y'all. I'm gonna shoot it straight, man. And if I miss, my bad. My fucking bad. But usually everything that comes out of my mouth is mostly facts. And an analogy, like I'm trying to piece it together. I'm trying not to ramble like I did, like piecing it together logically. I'm not trying to talk like that anymore. I'm trying to more or less just tell you what I think that might be happening, that we should probably think on, because like I said, if we can solve this problem, we could probably solve the issue of our fucking enemies. So think for yourself, guys. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Just think for yourself. They do project my thoughts, like they repeat my thoughts back to me. They sync with my thoughts, basically, and that this shit is really happening, and you should pay attention more to it. But anyway, think for yourself, guys. Like I said, they do have that. They have announced that shit. It's weird why they would do that. I guess it came out somewhere, and that's what they do. Sometimes when it comes out, they'll start admitting shit. Once it's out there, somebody figured them out, they'll start putting it out there, like through the media, through social media, through the news. They'll put it out there, man. After somebody figures it out, I figured out that these immigrants were being housed because these fucking immigrants that's coming over the border are working for the Illuminati, getting in on their agenda, getting paid to do it. And they were talking about there was this one that came up to me, and he was like, so how do these gang stalkers act? And I'm telling him about it, and I'm like just rambling on after that. I'm like, dude, I suspect this piece of shit right here, dude. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to do what they say. You don't have to be blackmailed into it or whatever the fuck they're doing to you. And he's like, oh, who's being blackmailed? I got a house. Like, he just basically admitted that he's doing the work of their fucking agenda. I've had this happen to me twice. They'll come up to me and they'll be like, what do they do that you know that they're gang stalkers and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't really tell him anything. The second one, though, I did tell him, I'm like, they act like they're scared and shit. And he acted like he was scared and shit. He started acting like he was fucking afraid and all this shit, man. Like, bro. Fucking worthless dogs, bro. They're the real dogs. They're the fucking losers of reality, bro. Pathetic pieces of garbage. Anyway, think for yourself, man. I just wanted to put that out there. You know, shit that's happened to me. So I just wanted to put that out there and, think on it. Think for yourself, guys.